Most of the teaching that I've done with astrology has taken the form of astrodrama. And this is a technique that I came across on the camp scene in the mid-80s in Glastonbury in England. And the idea of astrodrama is, of course, to link astrology with theatre, not unlike psychodrama. And astrodrama requires us to collect a number of actors, each of whom represents a planet, and set them up with some very simple instructions like, you're the moon, you're to do with needs and childlike behavior perhaps. You're Mars, you're to do with assertiveness and energy. And you sort of set people up with some very simple keywords. And get them going, set them off on an improvisation, and they just act out how they think they should behave. And then eventually, actually, it becomes how they feel. And there is a click point, something suddenly crystallizes into place where it's no longer thinking things through. Everything's got its own dynamic, and you're invested in the personality that has come to you, partly by your choice and the explanations of the facilitator, partly by some mysterious process, which has been known for a very long time. The idea of a mystery play goes back thousands of years, where the players would channel the energy of the part that they were playing. And that's what we're doing in astrodrama. We all become available for energies to flow through us and interact on the stage of the astrodrama. So the first thing to do when you set it up as a facilitator, you have to have some knowledge of astrology. You don't need that much, just the keywords for the planets and the signs, and some sort of sense of what aspects are involved. But you do need quickly to be able to look at a chart and choose the planetary actors. Typically, you don't want all of them. You don't want 12 to 20 actors in the chart. It's just never going to be clear. It's going to be muddy. However, you can do an astrodrama with a very small number. I've done it with 3 people. I mean, I've even done it with 2 people at times. But the idea of an interaction, an unpredictable dynamic, starts at 3 really. And the ideal number, I would say, is something between 5 and 8, that kind of range of actors. And then you have to choose which planets you think are the best ones to include. Well, I would always choose the sun, and I would always choose the moon. And if there's an angular planet, I would often choose that. And then it would depend upon the issue being discussed. So before you set the drama up, you ask the client, what question would you like to study? And it might be a question of knowledge or university, for example, or career or relationship or adventure. And that would give you a clue as to which of the planets you might want to include. You'd probably want Venus in there if you're discussing relationship, and perhaps Uranus if you're on an adventure, and so on. Maybe Jupiter. So you'd think about which planets might be the most informative, the most helpful. And you collect actors, give them planets. Sometimes you can give them a couple of planets which are in conjunction. So if somebody's Moon and Mars, for example, are exactly in the same position, they couldn't act it separately anyway. Not one person. So they're acting the collective energy of that conjunction. So they're the Moon Mars, for example. If planets are in trine or sextile, you say, well, look, you two are friends, you always understand each other, you're always in agreement, set it up very simply like that. You're a square, so you don't really like each other, you're always arguing, until you find common ground. You're in opposition, so you're either in a tug of war or a seesaw kind of relationship. You set up very simple relationships like that. This is not good astrology, not yet. But what happens next is that you set the drama going, and they all start improvising, and typically people behave badly for the first few minutes. So the facilitator then needs to say, time out, and just discuss what's going on, and then give a bit of a pep talk. Try and find a more positive expression of the energy that you're feeling. And we try and move towards a resolution of the issue that was really identified very clearly when everybody was acting badly, or acting well in a bad way, as it were. Anyway, that's the idea. And it's very, very much more powerful than you can imagine, really. I've had some extraordinary events take place as a result of Astrodrama. On one occasion, somebody was querying whether the action between Uranus and Mars in square was appropriate, that it was so violent and dangerous in the drama. She said, I'm just not like that. I'm really not like that. And that night when she was driving home from the workshop, she had a car accident. She was angry and accident prone as a person, and she denied it. So that was what gave rise to the real life accident. It could have been avoided. And in another case, a happier condition where a man in his 30s was quite timid. He wouldn't travel. And in the Astrodrama, all of the planets ran away and left him there. He was the moon in his own chart. Normally, the client would be the sun in their own chart, very rarely anything else. They could be observers, but usually you give them the position of the sun. But he took his moon for some reason, and he was lost and alone, and we all ran away, and he was boring. We didn't want to be with him. And so all of the actors ran away, and he was quite tearful when we came back. It was a very emotional thing for him. However, a year later, on the same astrology camp, he had to report that whereas last year it had been a big deal for him to travel some 100 miles to come to the camp, in the meantime he'd travelled around the world. He'd broken out, and all of those other planets running away to another part of a field was equivalent to running away to another part of the world, which he did. He picked up on that himself. So transformations can occur with these astrodramas. You have to be a bit careful when you're a facilitator trying to just understand what's going on. And it could be a profoundly powerful magical tool. I think it needs a bit more work to be refined, and you have to work with the right people. I tried it, and I got my fingers burnt a little bit. There was a time in, 1990 something, might even have been 1990, when the USA invaded Kuwait, and there was a sort of a war. And I drew up the chart of the invasion moment, and we acted that out as an astrodrama exercise. And I was telling people to just bring peace to the region. I thought if we could have a peaceful astrodrama, we could bring peace to the Middle East. Lovely, naive idea. But I had to, I didn't take a planet, I observed. And it's just as well I did, because I had to step in, and I had to separate these two men. One was Pluto, the other was Mars, and they were representatives of certain characters within the war. One was the general of the USA Army, the other was Saddam Hussein. And so we gave them roles as well as planets. And these two guys were literally trying to hurt each other. I had to stop them fighting. So astrodrama is quite a serious undertaking, actually. It's done in humour, it's done lightheartedly. We're talking about emotional issues in a very jovial, lighthearted way, and we're laughing about things. And that actually sometimes can ease the process of clearing. But, sometimes it doesn't do that. Sometimes people do get very emotional, and you have to be very sensitive to that. And also, as I've pointed out, it's quite a powerful magic. And therefore it needs to be held in discipline. And you need to be really clear about whether or not you're a planet or a person. You know, when you stop acting as a planet, you need to speak your name again to say, look, I'm a person. You know, I'm not any longer open to channel these very powerful energies of the gods. Now, in the example that follows, 5 of us have very, very simply carried out a mini astrodrama just to illustrate the point. And in choosing the planets, I thought, I need the sun, I need the moon. I don't really ever debate that. Pluto is angular, so let's include that. That's probably a major factor in the character of the client. And when asked what we're discussing, it became clear that solid physical hard work was required and a sense of adventure. So I only had 2 more planets to choose. I had Mars in Taurus and Uranus in the first house. The sign was not so important. It was in the first house. So quite an important planet. And we set off to discuss whether or not an appropriate adventure be carried out in the Andes, which would be deeply helpful for promoting further knowledge and likely to have an adventurous quality to it.
Do you have a question, a life question at the moment, something that you'd like a little bit of advice with or a deeper understanding?
Well, yes, I've been thinking about going next year to live for some months without knowing how much it would be, a month or a year or whatever, to Cusco. I'm going to meet some people there, some Queros, all this. I'm learning Quechua because of that, being a Gemini. I want to, I don't know, I'm between stages at this moment, and that rings a bell for me. I don't know why. I've been there like 3 years ago, looking at these wonderful mountains and these people, and I don't know. I feel like a call. I don't know why.
Okay, let's see if I can. You should be able to see the screen now. So we have the sun in the 9th house in Germany. So we'll have one of the actors play the sun, and I would suggest Alvaro takes that. It's always useful to put the moon in place as well. And because it's so close conjunct Saturn, we might as well consider that a Moon-Saturn conjunction. So one of you wants to take that. Pluto seems to be well worth a look, being on the ascendant, so we can have someone being Pluto on the ascendant. Maybe Uranus in the first house. Kind of a wacky thing you're intending to do. Uranus must have a say in that, so let's make that Uranus. And to make it happen, we've got this Mars, principal Mars, but let's call it Mars with the Venus conjunction in Taurus. Okay, so if Alvaro will be the sun, I want a volunteer for somebody to be the Moon-Saturn conjunction, or to be Pluto, or to be Mars, or to be Uranus. So your suggestions?
Can I be Uranus in the first?
Okay.
I don't mind, because I'm not sure what we are going to be asked to do. So you choose that, James.
All right, you be the moon.
Okay.
And I'll be Pluto. Very often get to be Pluto, strangely. So if we look at the chart, we can see that Uranus is opposed by Mars. One, two, three, four. Uranus is Peter. Oh, where's Loic? Is he gone?
Yeah, I was gonna say you forgot Loic, yeah, unless he left.
No, I'm here, but I don't know what we're doing.
We're here. No. Right. So we're taking roles in a play, and your role, one by one. Alvaro, your role is to be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Sabine's role is to be a mother or a child, and rather serious and rather worried. You're anxious about
I'm
safety.
anxious, okay. I'm an anxious mother or child, okay.
That's because Saturn is there. You know, Peter's job is to be risk-taking, wacky and wild and imaginative and electrical. My job as Pluto is to be Pluto-like, forceful, threatening, conscious. In this case, I'm a minor, so questioning for knowledge. And Loic, your job is Mars in Taurus. So you are indefatigable. You never, ever, ever know tiredness. You can just go on and on and on non-stop, as long as you're starting. But to get you going, it's almost impossible. I want you to act as though that's true. So what we're doing now is a slightly exaggerated version of the chart. Okay. Now, we set up a conversation and we just imagine that we're doing whatever Alvaro tells us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Get us going. I'll stop it after a few minutes and we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I want to go to these places, to these mountains in the Andes, to meet these people who, well, they do work with something which is very interesting that I've been seeing it now. I hadn't seen it before. There is a way of astrology that they study there, which is not focused on the shining stars, but on the dark paths, no, like what you cannot see in the constellations. You don't see the stars, but the dark spaces, and they have animals for that. And I hadn't heard about that before, and I've been reading or seeing or listening to that in the past 2 weeks, like all the time. So well, I want to follow that call.
Okay, it seems like a great idea, but how are you going to eat? Have you prepared? What have you prepared your backpack, or I don't know?
Well, I don't have any like real roots right now here, so I'm just like following the adventure.
Well, so take the chance. I mean, it's going to be a great adventure. You know, I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but like with so much new stuff, such different, different ideas, you're bound to learn so much. I just go, like I'd just take care of yourself and everything will happen. Just,
And
just take a packed lunch.
But how about what are you going to come back? When you come back to what situation? I mean, maybe you're going to lose your situation if you go like this.
I don't know. I don't have a situation right now here, so it's why not?
I don't like this. Still wishy-washy. I don't know where we're going. Where you going? When it's gonna be? Which date are you going into this adventure? Like, I want to know more information.
I think that like next year around May or something like that, when they start like their religious calendar. So yes, next year.
But you're excited enough to think about it quite a lot, aren't you? Really? I mean, just
I am.
You're actually sharing it with us, just yeah. I think and you said you're learning Quechua, so you're on your way. You're nearly almost there, At least I want to hear about it when you get there.
I will tell you all about that. I will still be in touch, of course. You are part of the journey as well.
But Quechua, do you know any other languages? I'm sure it's very difficult, Quechua, no? I'm just playing my role because I love the idea.
No, you're doing really well, Sabian. You're doing really well.
It is, but it's a beautiful language. They don't have a word for goodbye, for instance. You always.
Oh. Yeah, so you're in for a lot of really exciting sort of stuff, really new. You know, it'll really it'll test you. You'll grow. You know, lots. Just
Yeah. What would it take to change your mind?
You are with me, Loic, no?
Yes, I can. I just, so is it good there? How is it like? What did you like about there? Like, I want to know more about.
I want to know something from you. Focus on my question, please. What would it take for you to say yes and to be enthusiastically in support of this? What are your terms? Don't bounce it back on us.
Is that question for me or for Loic?
That's for Loic.
Oh, for me. Well,
you're the one that says you don't want to go. So what make you want to go?
Oh, so can you repeat the question? I thought you were talking about.
What are your terms? What will turn you into an enthusiastic supporter of this idea? And go for it.
I want to know the adventure that this place is carrying, and what is there that will make my heart bounce, and I just I need to know a little bit more details.
I want that as well. I want to know why we're going. I mean, I really, really want to know what I'm going to get from being there and what I.
Just a little bit more. This is
Well, it has many layers. The first one is like a child's dream. No, I dreamt about that as a child.
I don't care.
Going there.
I'm not nostalgic.
I believe that. Well, we were talking about destiny. I believe there is a destiny for me as well there. I love those mountains. I love the.
What are you waiting for, Alvaro?
I believe I'm going to learn some things. I love learning new things.
Well, that's what I want to know. I want to know why I'm risking my life. I'm happy to risk my life. I enjoy it, but I want to know why, so that I can focus on what I'm getting instead of safety.
Well, I believe there is like a true sense of freedom there, and I'm looking for that sense right now in my life. Absolutely. I don't want to stay here like I don't know if idly is the word, but yeah, like repeating
you don't
schemes.
need to go that far to find freedom. Freedom is up to you in any minute, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I do know that as well. It's inside or whatever, but it's like this sense of why not, no? Why not going there? It's very peaceful. I've been there before, and I love the place. I love the people as well.
Life is short. Life is too short, to sort of just keep hanging around at home. I'd sort of just get a move on.
Yeah, I believe that too. I do love traveling.
Who's stopping us from going? Is it Loic?
I believe that.
then there's nothing to do apart from ask him questions. Let's ask him questions. What do we need in order to get Loic on board?
Oh,
is there good food there? How's the food?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. It's one of the best foods of the world, I believe, in Peru.
Oh.
How
That's another reason.
That was enough to persuade you, was it?
That was good. That was good. The food grabbed me a little bit. The food grabbed me.
The Mars in Taurus, that's beautiful. Absolutely.
So are we all on board now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great.
Just
We
tell us
can
when you're
wait.
going.
We don't have to go until May. We can wait a little bit. It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be
have to
in
be
May.
now. It doesn't have to be now.
Okay, so let's terminate the Astrodrama now. So we're back as real people. We're not planets anymore. Did you get a sense of how that was the story unfolding? And the question here is, have you seen yourself in this, Alvaro? Is this the way? Are you like this?
It could be, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All the questions and everything. That clash is always inside. Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite helpful, I think, to identify. In this case, you need to deal with your Mars. You know, he may be persuaded by food, but I rather suggest it is likelier that he'll be persuaded by ardent walks beforehand, getting into a physical state of wanting a physical challenge. You know, Taurus will only eat when it's not getting physical exercise. I think Mars in Taurus. So you need to, you know, get into physical fitness for the journey.
Yeah.
You know, that there is a couple of people here that don't want you to go. But you
in real life, I wish you an amazing trip. Huh? Come on, this is amazing. Huh?
Thank you, Sabian. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. But you do have some reservations to just address. And it's best to know about them before you go. And like in 10 minutes, you can see what they are, can't you? It's like it's Astrodrama is great. Like I said,
wonderful.
I spent 30 years doing this and nothing but. Teaches you acting as well, which is quite useful.